Hi and welcome. I'm Chris Ertz with Xagility, and today I thought I'd spend a few minutes talking about some of my annual traditions now that it's holiday season. As you know, we get together as a family and appreciate what we have and share and give thanks. But it's also a time to reflect, take inventory, and clean up. So I call this time of year my holiday hard drive purge. So I'm going to give you some tips on how I go through this process of rebuilding my images and my computers. So let's get started. Step one, prepping the turkey. There's a utility inside of Windows called the Disk Cleanup utility, and allows us to assess what system files and temporary files that we have used and consumed over the year. We also have an additional menu here to clean up system files which are used from previous installations of Windows. It creates an old directory, the Windows old directory on your system. So for my home computer here, just by running this utility, I was able to trim 4 gigabytes even before I started the PC purge. So let's clean our systems up before we even migrate them over. The second step is our new operating system. And so thanks to Microsoft, as a Microsoft partner, I can download an ISO image from the Microsoft Partner Membership Center. If you're a customer, you have subscriptions either through TechNet or Software Assurance, and you have volume licensing, which you can also download an ISO image. The new ISO images are really easy to work with. You want to select the latest Windows 10 image. There's actually been 3, so it's always a good time. If you haven't updated to the latest build of Windows, you can find it in an ISO image. In this case, this is 16.07, and it was updated last July of this year. You want to choose 32-bit, 64-bit. Who knows? How do you find out? So if you go to your Windows 10 system information, you can find out this one's a 64-bit operating system. So choose the right operating system for your right hardware. Now that we have this ISO downloaded, we have a virtual directory already pre-configured. In the past, you'd have to set up a CD image or extend through external storage or CD-ROM drive that image, but right now it runs in Windows. So right from Windows, I can launch this executable. It's called setup.exe. That hasn't changed. And we start our Windows 10 setup. Microsoft recommends you go to Windows Update, takes a look at this computer and says, here's some new drivers, here's some updates to this image. Let's lay these down first before we get started, so we're making sure we have a fresh build and all the freshest utilities. This is where you're going to make an important decision. Do you want to keep everything? What do you want to keep? So our 3 choices: keep personal files and apps, keep personal files only, or keep nothing. Which, if you're like me, you're confident. I know I have my backups. I know where my data is. I know my identity. It's time to get a fresh start. I'm going to choose nothing. Well, that was fast and easy. No, I'm stepping through. It took about 20 minutes to do this process. I'm back into Windows, my fresh new build. Well, it doesn't know who I am because I didn't keep anything. But how quickly can I reestablish my identity? It's easy for me. I just add. My Xagility is what I logged on with. Those credentials are in Office 365 thanks to Azure AD. I also have some credentials with Microsoft, and they have my personal credentials through my Outlook account. So I add all those identities. I know, identity crisis. You may only have 2. I have 3, sometimes 4 identities to work with. And I mentioned Office 365. The next thing to do is download Office 365. I go to the portal. I can check my installation status of my builds. With Office 365, we get up to 5 licenses of Office to run on our own hardware. And I have 2 versions that I have running, one for my home computer and one for my work computer, the Surface Book. As part of Office 365, we get OneDrive, and so terabytes of data are waiting for me to fill again. Actually, I had this information there already. I have 3 different OneDrives. I have my personal OneDrive, I have Xagility OneDrive, and I even have one from Microsoft through those credentials. So all your credentials give you access, whether it's consumer or a business edition. You have to keep them straight. So how do you manage all your data? So all my data is backed up for me automatically. I reconnect, I sync that data, it gets back down to this machine, and I'm up and running. That was so much fun and so easy that I decided to do, after Thanksgiving, last Friday, my Surface Book. So just to go through that process again, this is how it looked before I got started. I only had 132 gigabytes of free space. And throughout the process of removing all of the hardware, the operating system, the previous versions, and cleaning it up, I was left with 209 gigabytes. And so I went from use space of 105 down to 30. Talk about getting trim for the holidays. Feeling good. During the process of setting this machine up, I was able to establish my identity using Azure Active Directory, which is fantastic that it actually prompts you during the installation process to establish your identity. So the first time I log in this case, to Azure AD at Microsoft, I get a welcome sign, my identity, all my settings, and if you're an organization, you can predefine those settings, application usage, security settings, all through Azure AD, and then set up your machine the way you like it. Microsoft likes us to use Windows Hello to my login. So I have a camera here, I look at my computer, it logs me in. How easy is that for identity? So I'm logged in. Same thing I did earlier, go to my Office 365, sync all my data, pull down my OneDrive, and in a matter of minutes, I'm back up and running. So let's recap. Was that fun? Is it easy? Here's the steps to take. Clean up your disk first, confirm your backup. In my case, it's the cloud, so it just makes it easy. Download the latest Windows 10 ISO, install. Once the installation is in place, connect those identities, install your apps. For me, it's Office, a couple other essential applications, sync my OneDrive, and I'm back up and running. Just in time to go out holiday shopping for the weekend. Thanks very much, folks. If you have any questions, you find this interesting, find me on Twitter at XGilityCE. Thanks and happy holidays.